Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily News on the Toon Review YouTube channel with me and Bazza Motson. Thank you, by the way, for everybody's comments regarding the show last night. Everybody seemed to enjoy the Four Horsemen, but we are back to the serious side of the action now with the transfer window. Oh, God damn it. I'll just choke.
It's not serious.
Not a lot going on social media, but we believe there is stuff going on behind the scenes, which we'll touch on in just a few moments. We've got Andrew in the house. Eden says, afternoon all, getting a bit anxious now. Don't think this window is going to be as good as we all hoped. Ross says, afternoon everyone, doesn't look like we're getting anyone in for Leeds. Thomas says, hiya Geordie. Think about it like this. Would you rather get all the business done after 18 days? Not planned as well. Could be a lot of risks, or wait, get the right player for the right price. Good afternoon, Keith. Good afternoon, Trolls. Afternoon, Geordie Bill. Afternoon, Sean. Alex. Afternoon, all. I'm sensing a pre-lead signing. I can feel it. Interesting. Ross says, we don't have time to be pissing about with transfer fees. Just pay what the teams want.
No, it's not the way to do it.
No, I don't think it is either. Andrew says, I think the owners are struggling with signings because of our league position. Yep. If we're sat mid-table, I'm sure we would be getting some great players in. I'd agree with that. But
massively agree.
Alex says, a fair few of these players want the moves. It's the clubs hiking the prices up and not willing to sell mid-season that's the problem, which is a problem every transfer window for everybody in January, to be fair.
Definitely.
Omar, good afternoon. I'm very nervous with Eddie Howe now. If we lose our next 2 games, would you sack him? No. I know it's a long-term project, but our win ratio isn't good enough. Baz, we spoke about Eddie Howe yesterday, and there's no way we want him fired, is there?
No, of course not. You've got to remember, 14 years of a black cloud over this football club. You've had 2 years of Steve Bruce regressing our players after we had the 6th best defensive league record under Rafa. Bruce comes in, tries to make us more attacking, opens us up, and then everyone's gone to crap. So Eddie Howe's come into a very difficult situation. He's been willing to take the job where other big names have scared away from it because they don't want a relegation on the CV if it happens. So give the guy some time. He's trying to get rid of all this dead wood that we've got in the football club. There was a great picture I saw on Twitter. I'll just quickly bring it up. In September 2016, Newcastle played Aston Villa in the Championship. Of the team that started that day, 7 current Newcastle players started. None of the Aston Villa players that started that day are with the club now. Eddie is not the problem. Ashley is the problem. Now, that needs to sink into a lot of fans.
Yeah. I mean, that just says how much that Mike Ashley destroyed this football club. Exactly. You know, if you look at the Villa, you know, I don't like comparing a lot of the time, but when you look at the progress after Aston Villa have made, and they're still under that progression now under Steven Gerrard, but they are a step ahead of us. We cannot deny that Villa are ahead of us in every single way at the moment, and are heading in the right direction with a manager who's got a lot of backing. and he's also got a lot of respect around the footballing world. Now, everybody comes at me, says, "Oh, Eddie Howe hasn't got the pulling power to get these players in." Well, hang on a minute. Kieran Trippier is an England international. Eddie Howe's had the pulling power. Newcastle United is a very big challenge to a lot of football players, but we're right. What's been said in the comments is that, we're struggling because of the league position, and that's understandable. If we were higher up the table, I don't think there'd be a problem attracting a lot of these players. But a lot of the problem is the clubs. The clubs are digging their feet in. They want more money, which is understandable. When you see the richest club in the world come knocking for one of your players, you think, "Oh, hang on a minute, money."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's going to happen. But I think with regards to the situation with Eddie Howe, he has taken over from an absolute, he's taken over a shit show, basically, is what he's taken over. And he has to be applauded for that, because he's putting his reputation on the line coming to Newcastle. And I think a lot of fans have to realise that it's a massive, massive risk, as it is for the owners. But time is a healer, as they say. And I think, over time, we will see this club grow. We just have to have the patience. But a lot of people are very anxious, obviously, because of the way we've played at the moment. And, with the Leeds game coming up, they haven't seen any change. We haven't seen the players that we wanted to maybe see come in, and it's slowing down a little bit. But let's just be patient.
Can't polish a turd, remember.
Well, yeah, interesting phrase. Afternoon, chaps. Hope you've recovered, Paul, from the Four Horsemen last night. Indeed, I have. Good morning, George. Well, afternoon, isn't it now? Yeah. Hope you're well, buddy. Callum says, Carlos offer rejected, according to Ruben Uriah. Well, let's have a chat about Diego Carlos, Baz, because I believe Mr. HP has been in touch and said that deal could be done as early as today.
Yep, he's basically said the offer is the final offer that's on the table from Newcastle United. If they don't accept it, they will walk away. So if it's accepted, it'll be done today. So it's right in the balance, but that's the sort of news we want to hear. It's a take it or leave it. If the club wants to earn the money that they're not going to see again, because we won't come back in the summer, and other clubs won't come in with the kind of money we're offering, they need to make a final decision, and the decision will be done today.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed it goes our way.
Yeah, I mean, we've made this clear on our shows, and I'm sure, a lot of football people will understand it. The Newcastle United are not going to go into this and be bossed around. Yes, I know a lot of people are saying, just pay the money, just pay the money. That's not how business works sometimes. And the owners will be aware of this, that they're not going to go over the top for these players. I mean, Diego Carlos, he is prone to a few mistakes, right? Now, that... I'm not saying he's not better than what we've got, because he clearly is. He's a class player, but he is prone to mistakes, which is why he's not really at the same value level as I'd say as Botman is. Yeah, and Botman's got age on his side as well. I don't think that deal is ever dead until the window shuts. To be honest, it will be very interesting to see what Lee'll do with that. But with Diego Carlos, Baz, it's an opportunity now to say, right, let's test them. We'll go in one more time with an offer that they will not get from any other club, and we'll see if it gets rejected this time.
Yeah, exactly. It's the best way to do it. And just to touch on the Botman side of things, he's the only player I'd pay over the odds for, because he is only 21, because of the reputation he comes out of Holland and how good he could be. You are buying, you're not buying experience, you're buying potential with him as well. And he's already shown the potential at such a young age. So he is someone I would say, look, pay the extra 5-10 million for, just get on with it. You can build a team around him for the next 10 years. And that'll be worth more than 50-60 million what they need to pay to get him. So he's the only one I'll go over the top on. But Carlos being 28, there's no sell-on value for him. If you offer maybe the asking price, which I believe we have done, or maybe 2 million over it, they're going to have to make a decision.
This is the thing. It's what we need to do. It's like putting clubs on the spot. Let's us take the high road here and say to these clubs, right, okay, you trying to fart around with us with a asking price. We know that you are not a well-off football club, as Sevilla aren't. They're not the rich. They're not by far and away anywhere near the top clubs money-wise. But they have an asset there that they can get a lot of money for, and they've got an opportunity here to get a lot of money for this asset. And it's take it or leave it. What we should be doing.
We won't see that asset being that valued in the summer, because he's starting to slow down a little bit. So, and if you wait till next summer, he's 29 going on to 30. So you're looking at maybe 10, 15 million. So the fact that we're offering what we're offering now, which is in the sums of 35 million, I think it is, that is huge money for them, for a player whose that sell-on value is gone. And this is the only time they're going to see that kind of money for him, if they even sell him in the future, because I don't think they'll be able to.
Asif makes a very good point as well. Some people think that buying players is like buying a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
It's complex, and these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It is a very complex thing, is signing. I mean, look, if everybody commented that Aston Villa and Watford and all them brought in players as soon as the window opened, these negotiations were probably already done and dusted before the window opened, and that's why they got the players in so quickly. And people might argue and say, oh, well, that's what Newcastle should have done. But it doesn't work like that with every player. And you have to be aware that there is a lot of negotiations, a lot of backwards and forwards conversations, a lot of paperwork, a lot of terms and conditions. All of this kind of stuff needs exercising. Yep. And people need to realize that. Luke Edwards, encountered resistance at every turn, but 2 players are likely. Yeah, we know that 2 players are likely, but it's who? How is going nowhere, no matter how many games we lose. Jake said it's a long-term project, and sacking the manager after 10 games means it isn't a long-term project. Yep. Exactly.
He's got a 3.5-year contract, hasn't he? And guys, remember, we brung in Eddie Howe not only for what he can potentially do in the Premier League, but if we do go down, and it is a possibility, and we don't want it to happen, he's the right man to bring us back up. Not one of these big names. I know Rafa did it first time, and he did it brilliantly. But Eddie Howe, with Bournemouth, where he came from and took them all the way up to the Premier League, he will get us straight out of that Championship with a blank check.
And the thing is, Barry, Eddie Howe's prepared to do this.
Exactly.
You know, he was prepared, and he's looked at both options coming to this club, and he sees where we can go. And I really have to, you know, that's why I was so angry with the disrespect shown to Eddie Howe when Rafa got sacked at Everton. It was like, oh, just get rid of him. Just turf him aside like a piece of trash. I mean, no. Yeah. He's a very decent guy. He's got great work ethic. He's changed some of our players around already. So imagine what he can do with better players. You know, Come on, look at the big picture. Alex says we can't pay 40, 50 million pounds for every linked player, or we'll blow our FFP in our first transfer window. We don't even have a new sponsor yet. Interesting.
That'll come in the summer, though. The sponsor will come. The FFP will work itself out eventually. But we do have a lot of FFP to play with.
Yeah, we do. We do. Great show last night, Paul. Really funny. Thank you very much. Andrew says we need to be looking into the loan market now. Permanent signings are hard in January, especially with our league position.
So loans, though, they're not as easy as everyone thinks they are as well. You can't just go to a club and say, we're going to take him off you on loan, and then he comes in. There's the wages, how much percentage you pay for it. Does the player still want to come? Does the club want to let him go without a replacement coming in? You know, there's all these sort of things that happen in the background that we never see or hear about.
Yeah, but the problem is as well, Baz, you've got to remember that, you know, loan players, people think, oh, they'll just come. I mean, look at Van der Beek. He's turned down Newcastle. Now, I think that's a very silly thing to do because he would guarantee first-team football. And I have to question where his ambition is right now. He's obviously just happy sitting on his arse. You know, he's got to understand that maybe the top clubs around Europe aren't going to come knocking for him in this transfer window. So a loan deal for 6 months, play well, get yourself a big move in the summer. If it's not to Newcastle, put yourself in the shop window. Because I wouldn't be bothered about that as long as you performed on the pitch for Newcastle, you know. So
wrong attitude there, though, isn't there? So maybe it's one to be. I mean, we all wanted him. We all said he would be an excellent player for us, but it's obviously a bullet dodged if he's, you know, willing to sit on his arse at Man United and pick up his wages.
Exactly. Ross says these Twitter transfer links are so boring. Look, you're always going to get Twitter links 1,000 times a day. But the reason we're doing these shows is just to basically give you the names that are realistic at the moment, or we've been told are realistic. Certainly not going to put every player's name out under the sun on this show because it's pointless.
Basically, the guy I get the information from, my HP, he knows 2 agents that are working with Newcastle, and he also knows a couple of players. Hence the reason why we've got Matt Ritchie's box in the future. So this guy knows his stuff. He gets told things. I can't give you all the names of people that he knows. I'm not going to tell you who he is ever, because then I lose that relationship with him.
You don't do that. You don't do
exactly.
that. So I don't say anything about mine either, and I never will.
Exactly.
people
But we
can say
do
what
get
they want.
stuff, don't we? We do get little
Of course
whispers.
we do, but
we
like,
get things. We just want to share it with you because football is all about debating. It's all about whether we want these players as well as from a personal opinion. We're not saying they're going to sign on the dotted line. We just like to give you the links, and that's the whole point of the show.
Conversation as well. We're not sitting here saying, "Oh, these guys are going to sign." It's what we're being told, and if what we're being told, we pass on to you. Now, all those things that we're being told will not come true. We're openly honest about that and say, look, we're not saying that every name we link here are going to sign for Newcastle United, because they're not. But these are people that we trust, people that are involved in the game, people that are
got things right in the past as well,
and have got things right in the past. Exactly. So, there's other sort of channels out there that'll say, "Oh, we're the best, we're the leading team,
fastest growing channel on YouTube."
Nobody will know anything 100%, guys, and
Exactly.
that's just the way it is. But we do this to create conversation. You have conversation in the chat about it. We have conversation between ourselves and you guys who are watching, and that's what it's all about. It's about conversation. Oh, this player's been linked. How do you think they'll do for the club? We're not saying, oh, they're going to sign. It's all about conversation.
The best way to put it, and the way to look at it, is we can't get to the pub together and have a pint and talk about Newcastle, so we do it on YouTube. So this is really like pub rumours. You sit in there, you talk about your club, you talk about who you've been linked with, you give a little bit of information, you have a pint and a laugh. That's what we're trying to create in our YouTube shows. So this show especially, and then also the show tonight as well when I do the banter one. It's what it's all about, just discussions.
Yeah. Carson, just been on Sky Sports News that Ramsey has turned Burnley down because it was too much of a step down, and the only reason we are linked is we can afford the wages.
True.
Yeah, it's gone a bit quiet on Ramsey, I have to say, but
his COVID isolation's ended as well, which is
it has,
because we all thought his agent was in Jesmond. He was spotted. That means talks have been taking place between his agent and Newcastle. There's obviously an offer on the table. That might be a deadline day transfer, because Ramsey might be waiting out for a bigger option. Rob, not just wages, he might just be thinking about more ambitious clubs, potentially in a better league position than us. So we'll
or
have
his
to wait
future,
and see.
because it is his future.
Exactly.
Whoever he signs for,
it's his last deal, isn't it?
It's his last deal, yeah. Just because it looks quiet on the transfer front doesn't mean they're not working their asses off behind the scenes. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a couple through the door before Leeds. Look how quickly Chris Wood turned around. That's all I'll say.
Exactly. The good thing about Chris Wood is obviously he had a release clause, didn't he? So that's why it went so fast. So if there's any other players out there with release clauses and they're good enough to improve our team, maybe that's the way we should be attacking, because then clubs can't turn us down.
Yeah. Interesting question from Jake there saying, do you guys think the club's short-term aims have been properly communicated? That's it.
It's a difficult one. I mean, the owners did come out and say they wanted to be more open and honest about how the club's run and let the fans understand what's going on in the background. But I think they've let us down on that promise at the moment. I know they come on Twitter every now and again and say something, but I thought, the NUFC Trust would be more involved and we would hear more through them, through the club, but they haven't done it. So, but it is their business at the end of the day. It's their money. We as fans turn up to support. We're giving their full backing to them. We've just got to trust what they're doing. But it would be nice just to understand what they're doing a little bit better. But that opens them up to criticism, doesn't it? So
well, it does. But I mean, my point is, Amanda Staveley's interview before the transfer window said that we have prepared excessively for the January transfer window. It seems a little weird that we're now sort of more than halfway through the window and really we don't seem to know who we're going for. There's all sorts of different, there's no sort of we seem to be all over the place, if you know what I mean. It's like, and what I don't want to happen is come to the end of the window and we start panic buying and just getting dead wood from other clubs again, because that's going to create a dead wood problem again at ours, which we don't need.
Yeah, a bit like Sunderland did.
Yeah. Well, that's not having to dig at them. That's what happened.
What they did. Will Grigg, that they ended up paying over the top for him and he didn't perform.
They brought in a lot of dead wood, and unfortunately for them, it took them down. And we do not want to make that kind of mistake. Alex says Villa's recruitment has been incredible. Even after their shaky start of the season, they have an incredible squad with depth and quality in every position. Chris says, seen a lot of people expecting overnight success. They're deluded. Getting a bit worried now. We need signings ASAP. The second name has been kept under wraps by the club, with the Northeast Reporter hinting that a surprise arrival may be on the way. Yeah, I think.
Do you want to discuss it? Told you behind the scenes who it was.
Yeah. Listen, I mean,
pinch of salt, though, isn't it?
It is a pinch of salt, but this has been mentioned by others and a lot of reporters as well, who aren't mentioning names, but we know we've been told the name. So, go on then.
So, I've been told, pinch of salt, guys, that there was a check done on this player's fitness and apparent heart condition.
Yeah.
All the tests have come back negative, so he's absolutely fine. So Aubameyang is the player that we're linked with, and he could be signing in the next 48 hours on a 6-month loan deal, and then probably an option to buy on top of it. So I think this is the name that everyone is not willing to say because they're scared it's not going to happen and they're going to ruin the reputation. But like I say, pinch of salt. Even my HP says, let's see, with a crying emoji face, because he's not sure he believes it himself, because he's such a big player. But it could happen because he's not getting his game at Arsenal, and we're the only team that can afford his wages.
And listen, I know we can't get him till the end of the AFCON, right? But the fact of the matter is, it'd be a tremendous coup for Newcastle to get him. Yep. And a lot of people are saying, oh, yeah, but what about his off-field antics? Even I've said that. However, the situation we're in, Aubameyang, as long as he performs on the pitch and gives his all, now he is a class above what we've got. There's no doubt about that. Whether you think he's had a bad season or not, he's still a quality player. He's not at his peak, because he's past his peak. There's no doubt about that either. But the standard of player he is, I mean, that could be a massive signing for Newcastle United. If he comes. If he doesn't, then fair enough. But that is the player that we are led to believe that could be a deal done within the next 48 hours. But obviously he can't play for Newcastle until the Cup of Nations is over in Africa. So he wouldn't be involved against Leeds anyway. Matthew says, Eddie Howe only getting sacked if we lose pretty much every game till the end of the season. I still think he wouldn't be sacked. No. Has Chris Wood signed yet? What?
Really? Is that because he was pretty invisible on the pitch for 90 minutes, I guess?
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't great debut, was it? But just very quickly on Adebayor again, Aubameyang, sorry. Chris Wood said the reason why he left Burnley is because things went stale. That's the same sort of situation for him at Arsenal, isn't it? Just things have gone wrong. He needs a new lease of life. And if he does come and he's loved, which the Newcastle faithful will give him every single chance to.
If he scores the goals, he'll be a hero.
Exactly. I think it could be an absolute shrewd 6-month signing.
And Dele Alli's not finished either. That may still happen. I've been told that Dele Alli isn't negative, shall we say, towards a move to Newcastle. So time will tell on that one as well. Look, we have somebody who doesn't like Newcastle. Yeah. As if we haven't heard that one before.
He's a Ronaldo fan. Oh, Jesus Christ. He's obviously a Man United fan. Oh, he's just a Ronaldo fan.
John, stop spamming us. Matthew says, very hard to be positive at the moment, but if we get a couple of wins, then things will look very different. Indeed, they will.
Of course they will.
I don't think Carlos is happening, says Matthew.
It's either happening today, or otherwise we're walking away.
It doesn't happen at all. Yeah. Caitlin and Nick said, afternoon, lads and lasses, and Baz.
Thanks.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Anyway, James says Joe Linton was outstanding first half against Watford. He was everywhere. Almiron let his man go, and Dummett got left for dead. Wasn't really Lascelles' fault. Look, it's gone. We're not bothered anymore. No, we're not even going there.
Because I'm right. Is that why? Because this guy was right.
No, right. Sean says, listen, lads, we have to question our owners here. If they want to stay up, January is the time to get the money out. Simple as.
You can't question the owners, man. They've took over a football club that's been shit on for 14 years. It's going to take time to rebuild it. And if going down means rebuilding it, and it just takes 7 years instead of 5 years, we're going to have to accept it. Just give them time, give them a chance. They're doing everything they can. Until you actually know what's 100% going on in the background, you can't question the owners. I'm sorry.
Indeed. Yeah.
I don't agree with that comment. I do apologize. Your opinion is valid, but I just think it's not right.
Well, this is the thing. This is what we just talked about before. Yeah. Everyone will have an opinion on everything to do with this. So that's what makes these shows worth doing. Anthony, I've seen that this morning linked with Yerry Mina from Everton. I'm not sure. I'm not.
It's not a name I've got.
No, but I'm not really. Yerry Mina for me, I don't think he's good enough. I'm not that impressed with Yerry Mina. I mean, it just, again, we seem to be hunting around the teams around us, pinching players off them. Could it be a tactical move again? Who knows?
Shithousery at its best.
I'm getting rid of that Pinaldo. He's doing me head in. Any mods in here? I don't know, to be honest. I think they're all.
The thing is, I mean, all these people who come and start saying it's an old club. He's a Manchester United fan, and their biggest deal is from a Saudi representative. So come on, look closer to home before you start having a go at us.
Yeah, but remember, most Man United fans think they're entitled, Barry.
Well, most Man United fans don't know the club really, do they? Because they're, camera fans, aren't they? That's what I like to call them.
Yeah. Sean says you make the money back by staying in the Premier League. That's a good point. I mean,
but you've still got to get the players over the line. You've still got to get the agreements on the other clubs. We are trying. You're just forgetting that these other clubs are holding us to ransom. So
yeah,
and we're not going to pay over the odds, because if we do, it'll happen every single time we go to sign someone. We've got to play hardball as well.
Yeah. Jake says, I'm not sure anyone you bring in now will be enough to affect the game on Saturday. Only 4 days, and they'll be facing a very high energy, well-drilled side. True. Joe Linton will cause enough problems. Look, I think if nobody signs today, I know they've got till Friday lunchtime to get in the squad and stuff, but I think today would be the best day to sign, so they get a decent amount of time with training and stuff like that. We've seen Chris Wood come in late, and he was put straight in the team. Didn't really have any effect on the game at all. I mean, I know he got no service most of the time, but he didn't look 100% fit anyway, and that's the problem that we are going to face. Anyway, trying to give our Toon Review sponsor a shout. It's Geordie Riffs, professional guitar repairs and servicing. Go and check them out if you're into your guitars. Great Northeast service, Graham and Natalie there. They will be giving you 10% off your first guitar setup or repair and your first guitar lesson for completely free if you quote the Toon Review. They do have a website, which is linked down below in the description. They also have a Facebook page, and they are now new to Twitter as well. So any guitar needs that you have, Geordie Riffs are the company to go for. So get yourself in touch with Graham or Natalie, and they'll help you along the way. Also, if you are enjoying the show, can you please do us a favor and hit the like button? And if you are new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. And we do have memberships available to the channel if you hit the join button, which is right next to the subscribe button. And if you want to donate to the channel, super chats are available. If you hit the $sign at the bottom of the live comments, that will take you through a payment method to donate that way. So thank you in advance for that. And also go and follow World of Sport TV, subscribe to them, which is Barry's channel. And you'll see us hopping on each other's channel all the time. In a partnership, which is going really well. So do go and give yourself a sub to World of Sport TV as well.
It's a right mouthful, isn't it?
We'll get there in the end. It's worth it, though. It's worth it.
Definitely. The next player?
Well, Ousmane Dembele has been mentioned again this morning in the press. Don't know if he's
Let's see if he's on my list, because I did hear about him yesterday. Yep, he is. Ousmane Dembele has been offered to us for 20 million euros, but he wants his salary matched by per week.
He does.
He's on 287k at Barca. Barca told him to sign a reduced deal or he'll be sold. Really can't see this happening, and that's basically because of his wages. So unless he decides to take a reduced offer, I don't think the deal's going to happen. But I mean,
287 grand a week for
someone who doesn't play often as well.
Well, yeah, he's injury prone. So why are Newcastle going to turn around and say, yeah, we'll give you that, but we're not sure that you're going to play the rest of the season? You could play one game and be out for the rest of the year. I don't think that's a go ahead at all. I think a loan deal for Newcastle would suit them better, because they can then go to Barca and say, right, we'll take him on loan for 6 months. We'll see how he does, and we'll split the wages or something like that. We'll be happy to do that, and then we'll obviously if it's a successful loan deal, then we'll look at doing something in the summer. That seems to me a better option than buying them straight outright and paying them crazy wages.
Well, can you imagine paying them those crazy wages and we go down? We're not going to be able to afford that kind of wages in the Championship. So it's a no-go unless he reduces his wages. Like you say, 6-month loan. If we stay up, then maybe offer him a big deal and he proves himself. But yeah, I don't think it's a go, that one.
Sean says it sounds like the new owners bought us expecting us to go down.
I mean, they couldn't rule it out, though, could they? The position we're in and the points we were leaking. teams we'd played that we should have really beat at the start of the season. The business people, they're not stupid. They're going to have a contingency plan in place if we were to go down. So, they're not silly guys. This PIF fund grows and grows and grows because they know what they're doing.
Afternoon, Jen. Seen a lot of people online saying we need at least 7 players to be safe. 7 wins. Personally, can't see us winning 7 games at the moment. What about you? Not at the moment, if I'm brutally honest. No. I think, I said at the weekend after that Watford game that we probably need 5 or 6 players into this first 11 to have any chance of getting out the crap. And I'll stick by that, to be honest. The way things stand at the minute, we are getting relegated there. I'm under no illusion, and I'm not going to kid anybody on that. I just don't think we've got what it takes. Paul, I've seen it could be Carlos and the one from Norwich, which is Cantwell.
Yeah. See, Cantwell going very quiet, and I was told a bid was accepted for him. But obviously put my hands up and said, obviously, that must be wrong. But it's still lingering for some people, so...
Darryl wants to know if he thinks we'll get our new sponsors when we fly over to Saudi Arabia after the Leeds game. Look, I think they're always working in the back. There's no doubt in my mind that the sponsors are going to be from Saudi. I mean, come on, let's be honest here. So I think PIF will be working on that anyway, whether the team's out there or not, to be fair. So,
definitely.
Danielle, good afternoon. In a right mood today, lads. Can't be bothered to twist everything into a positive narrative. Feel like we are being hit with brick walls in every direction. Balls to it.
We're always going to support the club regardless, though. That's, we always have our downtime and we always have our angry time, but we always come back. So, time will come.
It's Newcastle United. I mean, we're used to these roller coaster rides every bloody season, to be honest, whether we were with Ashley or whether with PIF now. It's always a roller coaster. Sean says the problems are convincing players that it's a 50-50 Premiership survival, so it's the players wanting to be in a dogfight and maybe ruin their careers coming here.
Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it?
Van der Beek has nothing to lose coming to us for 6 months. Exactly. But that just so we've spoke about him before. For me, just shows a bad attitude. That's the bottom line. If he doesn't want to come, he's happy to sit in his arse and collect some wages at Man United, which could end up destroying his World Cup hopes, to be honest. And at the end of the day, that's his own fault. Jack Wilshere, free agent, worth getting to the end of the season because that's better than nothing coming through the door with only 14 days left, says Chris.
I don't agree with that one, I'm afraid. He hasn't played any football for a long time. I just think it's a huge risk. I don't think he improves us. He's a quality player, but I think he's had his day now. And if he was that good, why has nobody else snapped him up or been linked to him?
Well, very true. And he hasn't played for a long, long time now. Let's not forget that. By the time he gets to match fitness, it could be the end of the season.
Yeah.
Too dangerous. Everyone is turning down NUFC because they don't want to fight and hard games. They want cushy days out. Yeah, some players are like that. Some players are like that. There's no doubt about it. Don't forget,
it's not just the players, the clubs as well, like we touched on.
Yeah, I think we have to get that across. That really, most of the time that we've gone to these clubs, it has been the clubs that have been the sticking point, not the players. Other clubs were neglected for 14 years and then taken over mid-season. The new owners have been busy putting fires out all over the place, whilst others have had plenty of time to get deals prepped. Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. But I think Amanda did make a big mistake though when she said, "Oh, we've been really working hard towards this transfer window," because I don't necessarily agree with that. It might have been,
but the players that they've wanted may not have. They've obviously had to look at Plan B, Plan C, Plan D, Plan E. Really, we don't really know, do we? Because we don't know what was on Plan E. If she came out and said, "Right, these are the players we're targeting," then we would know what's going on. But then you can't do that because you're talking about other players. Club's players, and it doesn't look good, does it?
It doesn't. Go to Juve and get Dybala. He's a free agent in the summer. I think there'll be quite a few teams going for him if he doesn't re-sign for Juve, which I have a feeling that he actually will. Anyway, what about the list, Baz, anymore?
Yeah, next one. I'm going to try and pronounce his name properly. It's quite a long one. Duvan Esteban Zabeta Banguero. He's a Colombian professional footballer who plays the striker for Italian Serie A club Atalanta. Apparently, we've offered £22 million for him today. He's 30, so he's obviously getting on in age, but I don't know much of him. One for John, really. Is
that him? Who's Connor's just put up? Zapata?
Yeah. There we go.
Listen, I mean... 30-year-old, but I mean, that's now for me. I mean,
short-term
deal, exactly. This is what I think the owners have had to look at as well. They're now having to look at short-term options to get us out the crap, and we said that at the weekend. That we're not going to. For me, there's not going to be a great deal of long-term buys here. We're going to look at short-term options and loans because we have to concentrate on the rest of this season. It's as simple as that. If we move on trying to get the big names in, then we're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities for short-term deals that would probably work better for us in the short term. Interesting that David says Kolasinac would be a shout at left back, move Dummett to centre back if needed.
Yeah, why not? Or you could just put Javi at right back, Trippier at left back, and put Dummett at centre back that way. That would work as well.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I would have more faith in Dummett. I know he's only played one game back since injury, but I would have much more confidence in Paul Dummett than I would have in Lascelles and Schär at the moment. For me, if he played Fernandez and Dummett at centre back,
I'd be
perfectly happy with that, because the two centre backs there at the moment have proved that they are just an absolute liability.
Yeah.
Ronald says these shows are great. Keep us all up to date. Thanks, bud. Chris has only found you guys out last week. Loving the shows. Thank you very much. Get yourself subscribed, Chris, hopefully. Simon says, let's do a live one from the boozer sometimes. Listen, it's funny because me and Baz have spoke about that quite a few times already. Maybe a horseman show or something like that live from a venue somewhere, but that will happen eventually further down the line once all this COVID crap's out the way.
Yeah.
Matthew says it was always going to be hard to do business this month. Alex Crook mentioning Dele Alli again. How tried to sign him twice at Bournemouth. Is he on your list, Baz?
He's not. Just to let you know about Campbell again, the offer is definitely still on the table. And Hazard is definitely a no-go. Is he on the list?
I'm not really fussed about Hazard, to be honest.
No, definitely not on the list. Dele Alli is as far as HP is concerned, is not in talks. The next one on my list are basically the same ones that we've already know about. Talks are ongoing with Man United for Martial, Henderson and Lingard. The most important bit is they're really working hard with Martial's agents trying to get him here. So Man United are obviously willing to let him go. It's trying to get Martial to turn his head our way. And the agents are really pushing that one. Now he could change us a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to get across, is that there'll still be a lot going on in the background with regards to transfers, a hell of a lot that we will never find out about, we will not know about unless the transfers come to fruition. I have no doubt that people from the club are on the phone to other clubs talking about players constantly. And that's what they'll be doing until the end of the transfer window. I guess it's up to us to put the faith in these guys to deliver for us. But at the end of the day, if they're working their asses off trying to get players in and we unfortunately can't, then that's just the way things go sometimes. But you know what it is? It's going to be very interesting these last couple of weeks of the transfer window, because I think there'll be disappointment somewhere along the line, but there'll also be some kind of jubilation, I'm sure of it. And we just we have to have the patience there. Jan says Dembele could be the star signing in the window. Paul reckons Eden Hazard is the secret signing.
Nah, he's already said he doesn't want to come.
Andrew, I think that's a bit optimistic, mate. The surprise is Messi on loan. I like your optimism, though. I like your optimism. God no for Aubameyang. He's not up for the fight, says Toon Dave.
You don't know that, though. You don't know what he's going through. And like I say, if he wants to come, he probably will be up for the fight. And again, what you're forgetting, if we do get quality players in, it's not a fight anymore. We're going to win games.
Yeah. So, has he been sent home from AFCON, hasn't he?
Has he?
I don't think he has. I think he's had tests out there. I believe it was heart lesions caused by the COVID, but he's now been given a clean bill of health.
So he'll be back to the AFCON, basically.
Yeah. How can anyone say no to Aubameyang? Exactly. Yeah, I mean, Christ almighty, look at the position we were in the summer. Look at the position we've been in for 14 years. If somebody had said, oh, by the way, in the January transfer window, you could be linked with Aubameyang. You know, no matter what's happened at Arsenal. I mean, come on. Wacky Angus says, me or more clubs targeting players that are 30 or older? listen, the fitness of these players is better than it used to be. That's why
exactly.
the age of 30 doesn't seem to come into it anymore.
When they hit 34, 35, that's the end of it, isn't it? So he's still got 4 years in them, really.
Yeah. Brooks says, I personally believe that Newcastle hierarchy are purposely giving the finger to MSM for their constant descending coverage of anything Newcastle. Mainstream media. Possibly. Listen, I mean, you know, we know Ashley used to ban anybody who said anything bad about him, but I don't think it's going to be the same this time. No. I'm not worried in the slightest at the moment. This is a long-term thing. We will get to the top. We just need patience. If we go down, we will come back. I have faith in the future now that Ashley's gone. I mean, we do have to look into the future as well, don't we? I mean, it's something that we have to do. Liam says he's been sent back from AFCON with the bad heart. Well, I haven't heard he's been sent back. What I heard was that he'd been sent for tests because they discovered lesions on his heart caused by the COVID illness. But then after being treated, he was given a full bill of health. So I'm not sure what's happened. If he's come back from the AFCON, then, you know,
get him in.
Yeah. Geordie Toon for Life is saying he's back as well. So he'll take no part in the competition. Well, if that's fair enough, that's fair enough. I hadn't heard that, but if he has, then he could, if he does sign on loan for us, he could be playing a lot sooner then. Yeah. Andrew says, I hate to say it, likely going down, maybe a blessing in disguise, only to clear out the losing culture mentality. I'm not sure it can be fixed in the next 4 months. Again, odds we are down. I believe in how.
Yeah. You can't. I mean, it's a very good opinion, and you can't not say we're not going to go down. But I just think it's between 4 clubs now, in a way. Everton might slip into it, but they might get the new manager bounce and they might pull away from it. But it's between Norwich, Burnley, Newcastle and Watford. So we've just got to look at ourselves. Can we get enough points to stay up? They're all winnable games. We've got to hope people keep losing, which is horrible because I don't like watching other teams just to watch them lose, because it gets you down when they start winning, like you see on Twitter with some people. But let's just see what happens. It's Eriksen. Yes, I would love Eriksen.
Yeah, I mean, there was talk of him on various shows yesterday. Yeah, you know, we know he's been linked with Brentford. But look, Christian Eriksen, I said this yesterday, with a lot of people worried about his health situation. And, you know, these professional doctors have given him a clean bill of health to play football. Now, they wouldn't say that if there was any risk to him at all with this device that he has fitted. So Christian Eriksen wants to get back into football. He wants to play in the Premier League, I do believe. Why not? I think I mean, listen, this guy would give us a hell of a boost in midfield.
He would keep us up, I think.
Yeah.
He created enough chances to keep us up.
Apparently, Oba was on Sky, SPN. Is that Sky Sports News? I don't know. This morning saying he was unfit now, overweight, and done out since his heart issues. Look, he's been given the clean bill of health from the heart issues because it was lesions caused by COVID. So, Aubameyang would be away from the London scene up here as well. Exactly. Yeah, although the Newcastle
maybe a mad scene as well.
Yeah. Tactical Tron, I don't know what your planet you're on today. Sundancer TV, I wouldn't want him, lads. Why are we wanting so many in their 30s? Look, it's about
experience.
It's about staying up, and that's the difference at the minute. We have to stay in the Premier League. You know, I'm not saying.
You know what I find funny though is everyone says pay over the odds because we'll get it back when we stay up. But when we're going for someone who's 29, 30, 31, I don't want them because they're old. But if they keep us up, we're recouping that money back again. So what's the difference between paying over the odds for someone younger or paying a decent fee for someone who's experienced? And it's the end result is trying to stay up.
Someone could have blocked the oil club troll very quickly there, Paul. Thomas, message me after the show, mate. You know, I could do with another. Go on then. Just message me after the show on Twitter, mate, and we'll sort it out. Fuji says the issue I have is that Eddie Howe is known for his attacking threat, and we've had next to no improvement.
I disagree with that. I've seen improvement. We just can't hit the back of the net.
Yeah,
still creating chances.
I heard rumours of Phil Jones. Listen, Phil Jones has been rumoured to be coming to Newcastle for 2 years, Baz? Something like that?
Yeah, he's a funny one, isn't he? Next on my list, it's Origi. but Liverpool won't sell until the last few days of January. AFCON, potentially.
See, I know Jade from your channel, Baz, had a very interesting thing to say about Origi and the fact that, you know, if he's had any kind of ambition in his life, he would have asked for a move away from Liverpool sooner, because he's been sitting on his ass for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
I tend to agree with her on that one. I don't know why. It's another one when you look at Van der Beek. You know, why is he happy sitting on the bench? You know, instead of coming on loan on a 6-month deal where he'd be playing in front of a massive crowd, in front of people who would adore him if he got us out of the trouble that we're in. Yeah. It makes no sense, and I tend to agree with her on Origi as well.
The only slight thing I'd say on Origi is that he's happy to sit on the Liverpool bench, because when he comes on, he's won the Champions League, he's won the Premier League, he's scored important goals, so he is loved there as he is, and he's a Liverpool fan, isn't he? So I understand why he's done it, but if he's got any ambition about being a decent Premier League striker going forward, he does need to make a move soon. Otherwise, he will just be known as a super sub and someone who does it every now and again. Yeah. So I'm 50-50 on him because of that.
Afternoon, gents. Everything is pointing towards a manic deadline day. Nothing seems to be happening, and can't see any new faces in before Leeds. Well, we can't really say that, because obviously, you know, there could be deals done before Leeds. We've still got a couple of days yet to get them in before Leeds. And hopefully Carlos is one of them. And as we say, Aubameyang could be the one in 48 hours. So we just have to wait and see on whether we've got anything available for Leeds. I have a feeling, though, Baz, if we don't have anything for Leeds, we're going to get
more.
thrashed.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, there's another one for you for the guys in the 30 bracket. Ludwig Bless, how do you pronounce it? BLAS. He is 24. Sorry, I thought he's born on the 31st of December. Read it properly, Barry. He plays for Nantes. He's number 10.
Yeah.
He has the same age. This is the interesting bit. He has the same agent as Trippier and Wood. So the agents are pushing it, and apparently that's at an advanced stage as well.
Well, could be good news on the horizon.
Yeah.
Man United fans are berating their board and whinging for more signings after getting Varane, Sancho, and Ronaldo in the summer. Yeah, exactly. There's a sign of entitlement. So, you know, that's just the way it is. We already paid over the odds for Wood. That's why other teams are holding us to ransom.
We didn't know we paid his release clause.
We did. We didn't go in with a bid. It was his release clause, and the club decided to do that, didn't they? Yeah. We can't afford to mess around with sums for centre-backs or another striker, in my opinion. Thomas doesn't want Dele Alli. Chris says, Manchester City were not asked about being held to ransom and got who they wanted. I don't think that's the case, to be honest. I really don't. You know, Man City...
They were in a better position than us, weren't they? They were mid-table.
Yeah,
they bought some dross, but the dross that they bought were big names at the wrong end of the career, sort of like what we're trying to do with some players now. And then it snowballed onto bigger and better players until they got the team that they wanted, the manager that they wanted, and the success that they wanted. So it works itself out in the end.
Tom's wondering why we haven't gone for Conor Cody. I don't know, Tom. I don't know. I was expecting a phone call from Newcastle telling me to go down and negotiate the deal. It didn't happen, unfortunately.
So Callum's just mentioned Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is returning to Arsenal from AFCON early. Gabon FA confirmed. The striker will go back for medical checks due to health issues after his positive COVID-19 test. So obviously those tests have been done and they have come back positive for a full bill of health. So there's a very good chance that deal could be done.
Exactly. Time will tell. Every player in Spanish league has a release clause in their contract as standard, apparently.
No, I didn't know that.
Not everyone does. So thanks, Danielle. Enjoy the rest of your day at work, and we'll see you on the fan forum tonight. Loan deals for these mercenary type signings. Sean says no to Dembele. Matthew says Dembele would get injured first game in the Premier League. Exactly. That's the risk.
There is the risk, but it's a risk of everyone that you sign that someone could get a 2-foot challenge and get snapped at the end of the day.
Yeah, but I think like we were talking about before, Baz, the wages That's what they'd be looking at, saying, "Oh well, we're not going to pay him nearly 300 grand a week with an injury record like that, considering the first tackle could put him out for the rest of the season, would be lost." Which I think is why a loan deal plus sharing the wages would seem like a better option for me for Dembele.
Yep, definitely.
Asif says, whatever happened to Nathan Ake?
Nothing really. I mean, he's getting his game at Man City, so why the hell would he want to come to a relegation fight?
Yep.
So,
Tom says Calvin Phillips from Leeds, he's out for the season, so there's no point looking at that one yet. The owners can't force players to join us. They are throwing bids in left, right, and centre. They are doing what they can. Have some faith.
Yep, well said.
Yep. Jerry Anderson back with what the hell's going on there? Arsenal for life. Newcastle going down, unfortunately. Well, you've said that once or twice, mate. So that's your opinion. But if we don't go down, then you were going to look extremely stupid. Luke says, realistically, how many, in your opinion, can we win out of our remaining games? We can't put a definitive answer on that, to be honest, Luke, because we could be getting. It depends how this transfer window goes as to how I think we're going to do for the rest of the season. When that window closes, when the 11 o'clock chime bings on Big Ben and it's all over and done with, then I'll give a sort of a reasonable assessment of how we're going to do for the rest of the season. Because at the minute, I just can't answer that because I don't know who's going to be in the team. We could do 5 or 6 deals before the end of the window. We might only do 1, but it'll give us a better sort of indication about how we're going to do for the rest of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
Jerry says, thought I knew you, mate. No, that's just a different conversation going on in the chat there. Hearing reports Carlos' bid is not enough and they want a replacement before they sell.
I have heard that, but I'm sure they've got a replacement in, or they're very close to getting a replacement in. So, like I've said, the bid's there. It's either done today or we walk away.
Yeah. Toon Stato has gone back to the Arsenal for life. Don't worry, we'll be occupying your European places soon enough. Get your digs in while you still can.
Exactly.
Very good comeback. Can't believe we're still within touching distance of safety, having won only 1 game all season. Shows how poor the bottom teams are this season. Exactly. Yeah.
And they're not exactly strengthening either, are they, really, when you look at the windows so far? Watford are really not doing anything. Burnley aren't doing anything. Norwich haven't done anything. So, and we're the only team really looking to try and spend our way out of it.
Arsenal for life. Newcastle fans are going to be a nightmare when they start doing well. They've taken so much banter over the years.
This is true. I don't think we'll be a nightmare. I think I'll be very humble, to be honest with you.
Once I've got lying kid. No way. Absolutely no way. Jake says, how badly has missing Wilson affected your results?
Massively.
Well, definitely Cambridge and definitely Watford. I mean, if we'd had but then again, I mean, Watford, we didn't provide Chris Wood with anything. So what's to say we would have given Wilson the? It would have been interesting to see
both of them together, though.
Both of them together, yeah. Because I mean, Chris Wood winning the flick-ons, and because that's what sort of angered Callum Wilson a lot this season is that he's winning flick-ons and there's nobody running on. So roles would be reversed here, where Chris Wood would win the flick-ons and Wilson would run onto them. So we could actually have a quite an interesting partnership up front.
Yep.
Wacky says Burnley are going to end up having 10 games in hand at this rate. Yeah.
Yeah, but having games in hand doesn't mean points, does it? And then you've got to have that fixture congestion, which could absolutely ruin them because they haven't got a big enough squad to handle.
Well, that's what I was thinking this morning is, people are talking about the games they've got in hand, but they're going to have to play those games in very close proximity, which means they'll be playing a lot of games in a short space of time.
Yeah.
And they don't exactly have a big squad. So our opportunity is there. And I'd rather have
points on the board if we had them.
Yeah, if we actually had them. That's a good point. Darren says there are quality players that will come. Remember Oscar from Chelsea? He went to China for money. Indeed, he did. Yeah. It's all good having the players agree terms, but if their team is playing hardball, it's going to be tough, especially in January.
Yeah, well said, Michael.
But I don't think a lot of people realize that, though. This is the January window, and it's not the summer window. Things work very, very differently in the January window.
Yep. Shorter period of time.
Yeah, but teams also don't want to let certain players go because of whatever competitions they're still involved in.
Yeah.
And if Sevilla do want a replacement for Carlos, you can understand that, given that they're losing a very good player. They want somebody to step into that position. So there's not enough time to get all that sorted in such a short space of period like the January window is.
Mm-hmm.
Jan says most top players we are linked with, they will all have to wait until the summer. If we stay up, they will come. Foxy says Baz called him by his full name, Duvan Zapata. Yes, you did, Baz. You did actually buy him his full name.
I give it a go for a change.
Yes, you give him a Sunday name. Interesting. Apparently, they've also rejected a loan to buy for Zapata. So, again, we'll have to wait and see. Fenerbahce defender Atilla Sazlai has been linked with us. I got that name right. People saying I can't pronounce names. Wacky says, how much would that name cost to put on a shirt? Would there be enough room for it? Absolutely not. Anybody else on the list, Baz?
No, that was it for the list for today. I am getting another update at 7 o'clock tonight, ready for tonight's show as well. So hopefully we'll be further on with the names that we've been talking about today. We'll do a few stats tonight as well and stuff like that we like to do.
Yep. So there we go, guys. We've had that's basically
quite a lot of names there.
Some very good names if we can get them.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not saying that phrase because I'm sick of that phrase over the last 14 years, so I'll stay away from that. Listen, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. We've had over 550 watching this afternoon, which has been unbelievable. Thank you so much. If you have enjoyed the show, don't forget, please hit the like button for us. If you're new to the channel, you like what you see, please consider subscribing. Also, you can become a member of the channel if you hit the join button, which is right next to subscribe. There is going to be a members competition very shortly. More to come on that. And so thank you very much for everybody. Give a quick shout out to the sponsors of the Toon Review again, which is, of course, Geordie Riffs, professional guitar repairs and servicing. Check out their website, which is linked below in the description, and also they are on Facebook and Twitter as well. Give Graham or Natalie a call and they will help you with all your guitar needs. Right, tonight I'm back again live at 8:30 with the Fan Forum Live. Straight after that at 10 o'clock on World of Sport TV, it is the transfer update show. I'll be hopping across to that as well. And we always have a good bit of banter on there as well. So if you want a good laugh, get yourself on there as well. But thank you to everybody for taking part in the comments today and getting your opinions across. Hopefully, in the next few hours or the next day or so, we'll see some positive news with arrivals at Newcastle United. But in the meantime, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.